My name is George Hickey. I'm here in two roles. I'm from Seattle, Washington. I'm here in Tacoma for two roles. One, I'm a member of Veterans for Peace. I'm a Vietnam-era veteran, and I'm a member of the Seattle chapter of Veterans for Peace. And I'm here to show support for these people as they go down to the port and protest the loading of war materials to be sent over to Iraq. I'm also here to perform my role as a photographer to document this. I've been documenting street protests in Washington State, particularly Seattle and Tacoma, for the last 10 years. The last couple months that I was waiting for discharge, I was assigned to a medical holding unit at Ireland Army Hospital at Fort Knox, Kentucky. And this was in late 1966, early 1967. And troops were already coming back from Vietnam wounded and dead. And what they did at Ireland Army Hospital was they would treat these troops, and then they would go and sit in a medical holding company with their amputated arms, amputated legs, disfigured faces, whatever mutilation they had suffered, whatever wounds they had suffered, and wait for the Army to give them a disability. You're 30% disabled, you're 50% disabled, or whatever, and then discharge them with their pension, their medical pension. And usually the Army would lowball them, and then they would have to fly off to Valley Forge, which at that time was where they would have the medical appeal board, or whatever they called it, where they would appeal for a larger disability, and I guess go there and show their wounds, And of course, I'm reading in the paper here lately the same thing's going on at Walter Reed. These guys are receiving substandard treatment. The military drags it on until they're desperate to pay their bills. The credit card companies are after them. The wife can't feed the baby, and so on. So then they take a lower disability rating to get out of the military. The disability rating you get when you're discharged will affect how much money you receive over the course of your life, and also the standard of care you'll get at the VA. We support the troops, or the politicians support the troops, as long as they've got a use for them, as long as they can use them for cannon fodder, as long as they can use them to advance their interests, as long as they can use them to advance the interests of the oil companies and the corporations that are going to go in there and reap massive profits after the war is over, and who are reaping massive profits now that the war is going on. After that, after they've used the troops can't fight anymore. They've returned home disfigured, wounded, maimed, mutilated. Well, now they're an expense. They're not a tool that functions anymore. Out of sight, out of mind, right? That's why we don't see any footage of these troops returning home in caskets.
My name's Janet Swanson. We're at the Port of Tacoma with the resistance group. And last summer I was in Olympia, quite a different place. And seeing all these young people and how dedicated and passionate they were about stopping those striker units really gave me a good feeling of hope for the future. I felt very discouraged up until then, after the elections in 2004, but being part and observing the resistance at the Port of Olympia was an inspiration to me.
Yeah. Hey, you want to get arrested with me? I don't know what to say about that.
She invited me
Stand
before.
for peace. Be with us. She's getting arrested with me. She doesn't know yet.
I'm with you, Jody.
There's a copy of all of these.
We, the members of Port Militarization Resistance, believe that nonviolent social change is a means for people to discover their own power through the peaceful resolution of conflicts, the creation of democratic structures, and the realization of justice, not mere victory. While working in this group, we commit ourselves to the following principles. 1, we seek to win over our opposition by changing their minds rather than through degradation and humiliation. 2, we are willing to make personal sacrifices in order to ensure freedom and justice for all people, even our opponents. 3, we shall refrain from physical assaults, verbal harassment, and malicious sabotage. 4, we remember the need for forgiveness and humility, and always seek to understand each other's actions and the actions of our opposition. 5, we shall ensure that all our events and meetings are transparent, inclusive, and democratic.
Obviously, all the laws have to be abided by. We've set the rules of engagement up. No climbing the fence, no putting anything on the fences. We just want you to have a good, peaceful demonstration, okay? So no backpacks, no purses, no bags. that's where we're at. We'd love to let you through so you can come do your thing. And as long as we keep the bags out, we're good.
We're here to assert our right to protest the deployment of the 4th Brigade, 2nd Division. That's why we're here. All I have in my backpack, not that it matters to you, but all I have in my backpack is the U.S. Constitution. And, and I believe I have the right to bring the U.S. Constitution over here.
Walk by with a backpack. Walk by, you're going to get
And so we're going to assert our right because just as we feel that the soldiers should disobey unlawful orders, I will not obey unlawful orders. And so, asserting my rights, this is my First Amendment right.
Man. Officer Nelson of the Tacoma Police Department. Why are you arresting this man?
Everybody know his name?
Right here. There you go, Pat.
Did you receive a written instruction about the backpacks or only an oral instruction?
Okay. Wait a minute. No problem.
And that anything that I might do here, any small discomfort that I might experience, any small consequence that I might experience for the things that I choose to do here in the name of trying to keep our troops home from an illegal war and an illegal occupation is inconsequential compared to what other people have suffered and what other people are currently suffering. Others do nothing.
And so last year was my first arrest when the convoy came through Olympia, but I was booked and released. This time I'm hoping to be at least booked and charged and have some consequences. But I feel like the rest of them have said, it's the least we can do as citizens to start upping the numbers of people who will face civil disobedience arrest. And I encourage it to be non-violent civil disobedience as opposed to fights with the police or whatever, or where it's perceived as that.
We don't know who they are exactly. They're wearing lettering that says they are sheriff, but they're not wearing any badges or unit identification or anything to identify what jurisdiction they're from or who they are or what individuals might be whom. Several of them have their faces covered in dark glasses and clearly don't want to be seen. They may be feds, they may be King County, they may be, who knows, could be anybody. There's a few officer types that are clearly displaying Pierce County Sheriff, so my guess is that most of them are Pierce County Sheriffs, but I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if there were a few that were not. And I'm almost certain that there are federal officers over there, but that's only my opinion. I don't have any proof of that.